Good morning to my all dear students. Students, today I am going to start our next chapter, the cell cycle and cell division. So, in this chapter, students, I will discuss what is the life cycle of a cell, or which is referred as cell cycle, as well as what are the two different processes through which a cell can undergo division and it can divide and form new cells. So, students, initially I will tell you that what is cell cycle. Cell cycle means the whole cyclic processes which are going through the cell before it divides and forms new cells. So in simple way we can say that most cells in the organisms go through a cycle of growth, development and division, and this cycle is called as cell cycle. I mean to say that most of the cells in our body, okay, while they are forming through cell division, they will grow, they will develop, and finally they will once again ready to divide. And once they will divide, they will form a new cell. So all these processes are included into a cyclic process, and these cyclic processes are called as cell cycle. So if somebody is going to ask you that what is cell cycle, so you can answer that cell cycle is a kind of cycle which occurs in most of the living organisms. Okay, in this cycle, the cell initially grows, develops, and finally undergoes division to form new cells. Okay, the cell cycle makes it possible for organism due to the cell cycle, only and only due to the cell cycle, the organisms are able to grow and develop. Okay, and we are observing that we are multicellular organisms and our body is composed of multiple cells. So as we know that there is a fixed lifespan of a particular cell. For example, I am giving you one example. The lifespan of RBC is only 120 days. And if we will compare the life cycle of a human being or lifespan of a human being comparatively to the lifespan of a RBC, so it's quite greater. So it means to say that throughout the life we require RBCs, but RBC has a lifespan of only 120 days. So how we are able to maintain the number of the RBCs in our blood? This is only due to the cell division. Okay, so if there is a old cell or there is a worn out cell or there is a cell which is being defected, so it may be replaced, or it may be I have to say that the cell division process helps in the replacement of the old as well as damaged cell, as well as it also helps in the production of new cells. So I am concluding cell cycle is a cyclic process which occurs in the mostly all the living organisms, and it includes growth of the cell, development of the cell, and division of the cell and formation of new cells. Is it clear? Now here you are observing that in a cell cycle, while a cell is growing, developing and undergoing cell division, it possesses two different stages. Now what are these two stages? The first one stage is called metaphase and the second stage is called mitotic phase or M phase. Okay, so in detail I will discuss about all these phases, what is interphase and what is metaphase. So initially I am talking about interphase. Okay, now interphase is a period of the cells when the cell starts to grow. मतलब ये वो फेज है जहाँ पे सेल ग्रोथ करती है, डेवलपमेंट करती है. ठीक है. एंड in a cell cycle or in a cycle of cell, or I have to say that from when a cell is going to form till then it is undergoing the cell division, this stage of time or this time duration, we can say that in that particular time duration there are two phases generally: interphase and mitotic phase. Interphase is the phase in which the cell is growing or developing or becoming mature to undergo cell division. So this phase can be referred as interphase. Okay, so we can say that interphase is a period of the cell's growth and development, and a cell spends most of the life in interphase, means division is the last process. Okay, and before it, when the cell is going to grow and it is developing, this phase is quite longer than the mitotic phase. And there are three different stages in the interphase. Here in the picture you can see that what are these three phases. Okay, the first one phase you are observing. Okay, then the second one phase is you are observing, and the third one phase you are observing. Okay, so we are going to start from the G1 phase. Rapid growth and replication of the cellular organelles is going to take place in this one phase, while in the S phase में क्या होता है, जो DNA होता है सेल का, it is going to replicate and it is increasing its amount, and as well as the G2 phase while the cell is finally going to prepare for the next cell division. So there are three different phases: G1 phase, S phase and G2 phase. These are the phases of interphase. So I am coming to the next slide once again. ठीक है, there are three stages of the interphase: the rapid growth and replication or copying the organelles. In the first one phase, which is referred as G1 phase, in this phase, because the when the cell is formed, it is not quite mature enough. ठीक है, it grows inside, ठीक है, and it replicate, the cellular organelles are going to replicate, they are increasing their number, ठीक है, they are copying their cellular organelles. Then the S phase comes. In S phase is also called as synthetic phase. In synthetic phase, the DNA copying takes place. ठीक है, मीन्स DNA copying, you don't you think that कि while the S phase goes on, आई एम सेइंग दैट DNA replication takes place. तो DNA तो नंबर बढ़ाता है अपना, बट क्रोमोजोम्स का नंबर नहीं बढ़ता. यू मस्ट हैव टू रिमेंबर वन थिंग दैट मोस्टली हम लोग कंफ्यूज कर जाते हैं कि एस फेज जब चलेगी, सिंथेटिक फेज जब चलेगी, उस फेज में DNA बढ़ता है. तो DNA के बढ़ने मतलब ये नहीं कि क्रोमोजोम भी बढ़ेंगे. क्रोमोजोमल नंबर विल रिमेन सेम, बट द DNA विल रिप्लिकेट एंड इंक्रीज द अमाउंट ऑफ द DNA. ठीक है, copying of the DNA and the genetic information in the cell. Last, finally, G2 phase, in which in this phase the cell is becoming fully mature, ठीक है, and it prepares itself for the next cell division. Is it clear? Now the second phase is called as mitotic phase. Now the what is mitotic phase? Now in the first phase, as we observe in the interphase, the cell starts to grow or develop, and while the mitotic phase, a cell starts the reproduction process, means a cell reproduces during the mitotic phase. And there are two steps in the mitotic phase. ठीक है, what are these? I am going to tell you that the first one phase is called as karyokinesis, and the second phase is called as cytokinesis. Now what is the difference between karyokinesis and cytokinesis? I am going to tell you that karyokinesis means the division of nucleus. As we know that in Latin language, nucleus is known as karyon. ठीक है, तो in karyokinesis, nucleus is going to divide, means one parental nucleus is going to divide into daughter nucleuses. ठीक है, and the second phase is cytokinesis. Cytokinesis is the word which is derived from the cytoplasm or cytosol. So initially the nucleus is going to divide. Initially what happens in a single cell, a single nucleus divides and forms two daughter nucleuses. Then it is followed by the next process, and this process is called as cytokinesis. In this process, cytoplasm is going to divide, and finally after the mitotic phase or mitosis, two similar or two identical daughter cells are going to take place. Means after the mitotic division, two identical daughter cells are created, and the original cells are no longer existence, because the original जो cell थी, parental जो cell थी, it is going to completely divide and forms two daughter cells. Is it clear? So I hope so you understood the concept of cell cycle and what are the two different phases. Later on from tomorrow video, I will discuss in detail these two processes, interphase and mitotic phase. Till then, thank you, bye bye, and have a nice day.